Okay, so now let's proceed with our model, that is the weaknesses of the fluid mosaic model. And on the weaknesses of the fluid mosaic model, we have seen that though it has got a lot of the strength, also it has got a weakness. So what is that weakness? And that weakness, it has only one weakness, that is this model does not indicate or explain the presence of electrolytes in the plasma lemma. So since the electrolytes, it helps in detection or the passage of information from one cell to another. So now you can see this plasma lemma. It is found, or it acts as a joint between one cell and the another cells. So where does that information come from? From one cell to another cell is through this place. But also due to the presence of the electrolyte tend to give the signal that in that place there is a presence of maybe any kind of reactions or material that are needed to enter within a certain cell. That is the weakness of the fluid mosaic model. So now let's see another thing, that is the functioning of the plasma membrane. As we have already seen the structure, and different scientists that they investigate different things that are found within the within the cell that is found within the animal or plant and so on. So now we have to see what are the functions of the plasma membrane. Je, plasma membrane inakuwa na kazi gani? So the following are the functions of the plasma membrane. And the first function, we can simply say that it recovers the surface of every living cells as act as a barrier which separates the cytoplasm from extracellular environment. So cytoplasm, it acts as a cover, inalinda zile content zinazopatikana ndani ya seli. Now here you can see it tend to separate, or it acts as a barrier. So those material that are not needed within a cell, they will not enter direct within a cell. Why did that material cannot enter within the cell? It is because of the presence of the plasma membrane that is act as a barrier. So it separates the cytoplasm from the extracellular environment, material yaliyokuwa nje au mazingira ya nje ya seli, na yale mazingira ya ndani ya seli hapa tunaongelea cytoplasm. Another function of the cytoplasm, the plasma membrane, simply we can say that it allows passage of some material and it allows passage of materials in and out of the cell, that is selective permeability. Inaruhusu material kuingia ndani ya seli na kutoka nje ya seli. That becomes the selective permeability. Why is it called the selective permeability? It selects some material that are needed by a cell, and those materials that are not needed by a cell, they will not enter within the cell. And another function of the plasma membrane, simply we can say that it facilitates the transmission of nerve impulse in the nervous system. Pia plasma membrane inasaidia sana kwenye transmission of nerve impulse. Ukija ukiangalia kwenye synapse there is a membrane. So ile membrane ile cell membrane ndiyo ambayo inasaidia kwenye transmission of nerve impulse kutoka kwenye nerve moja kwenda kwenye nerve nyingine. So the role of cell membrane or plasma membrane, it work upon there. So that we can simply say that it facilitated the transmission of nerve impulse in the nervous system. We're going to clarify more about the transmission of nerve impulse or on how does a cell membrane helps in transmission of nerve impulse while we are looking on the coordination. So tukifika kwenye hii topic ambayo inaitwa coordination, utaelewa zaidi the function of this cell membrane. So here you have to know only that. And another function of this cell membrane, we can say that cell membrane, it functions as a receptor site of hormonal and neurotransmission of chemical stimuli. We have seen that it functions as a receptor site. The receptor site, the role of the receptor is to recognize if there is any stimulus on the outside environment so that it can transmit the impulse to the next part of a body. So now here we can simply say that it acts as a receptor site. Receptor site for what? For hormonal and neurotransmission of the chemical stimuli. So also hormonal transmission of impulse, it depends on the presence of this cell membrane. Another functioning of this cell membrane is simply we can say that it aids cell-to-cell recognition. When membranes of two cells comes together. So we have seen that this function, that is, it acts as a cell-to-cell recognition, kwa maana kwamba hii cell membrane ndiyo ambayo inasaidia kuunganisha kati ya seli moja na seli nyingine. That's why here we can see that when the cell membrane of two cells come together, so they recognize the presence of another cell. Kwa sababu gani? It's just because of the presence of this cell membrane. And another functioning of this cell membrane, we can simply say that it serves as a base for attachment of cytoskeleton in some organism and as the cell wall in others. It serves as a base of attachment of cytoskeleton in some organism and as a cell wall in others. So ukiangalia baadhi ya different kind of living organism, this cell membrane, they tend to act as a cytoskeleton. You know, the cause of the functioning of skeleton is just to provide the strength and to give the shape of different kind of organisms. So in different kind of organism, the cell membrane, they act as the cytoskeleton in organism and as in the cell wall in other organism. And thus the cell membrane supports the cell, and thus we can say that the cell membrane support the cell and maintain its shape. Since here we have seen that this part, that is the cell wall, tumesema kwamba ina act as a cytoskeleton. So na kazi ya cytoskeleton, it tend to support and also it provide shapes. So hii inakuwepo baadhi ya viumbe hai. So hile cytoskeleton au tunaweza tukasema kwamba hile cytoplasm au hile cell membrane yao inayopatikana nje, they act as a cytoskeleton. And the role of cytoskeleton here, my student, simply we can say that the role of cytoskeleton is to provide support. Not only support and to maintain the shape of different kind of an organism. So that's the role of that are the functions of the plasma membrane. So now you can see the plasma membrane has got many benefits to a living organism, since it helps in different activities that are taking place in the body of an organism. So now, my student, I would like to invite you again into the next session, whereby we are going to see another parts that are found within the cell, that is, we're going to looking on the cytoplasm, but we will finalize looking on the plasma membrane, that is the cell membrane. And the thing that you should know and keep it into your mind is that different terminology can be used to express this cell membrane. And I have told you, and I'll repeat it again, that is when you meet the word plasmalemma, ukikutana na neno limeandikwa plasmalemma au cell membrane au plasma membrane, inakuwa ina maana hiyo moja. So don't be confused. And by saying so, this marks the end of our today's session. Thank you for your time and for listening. Bye bye. Have a nice moment.